So we're out here at Deer Flat National Wildlife Refuge in Nampa, Idaho, working on the College of Western Idaho Monarch Conservation project. And here we study monarch butterflies, and really this project is setting out to understand their demography, their distributions, and their abundance within the Treasure Valley of Idaho. CWI became involved as I approached refuge managers about opportunities for College of Western Idaho students to simply become involved at activities in the refuge or at the refuge. And I asked about possibilities of students becoming involved, and the refuge manager said, well, in fact, we've just gotten a mandate to look for milkweed and map milkweed distributions on the refuge. Would you like to be involved? And I said, that sounds really great. And she proceeded to hand me a monitoring framework packet and said, here you go. We haven't really gotten started, so if you want to start, have at it. And I kind of stepped back a little bit and thought, wow, okay, this is an opportunity to do something new. It was a daunting task to create a monitoring framework that fit the scale of this refuge, which is the terrestrial portion of the refuge is about 1,000 acres and the lake occupies about 2,000 acres. So I set out with teams of undergraduate students to map the distribution of milkweed around the refuge over a 2-year period. After mapping milkweed, we started to get questions about, well, are monarchs using this habitat? And nobody really knew. Up to this point, monarch butterfly distribution and breeding habitat was relatively poorly documented within the state and within the Treasure Valley. And so efforts to begin mapping the distribution of monarchs and how they use this habitat began. This project is on the forefront of just a few projects within our entire region in mapping the distribution of both monarchs and milkweeds. And in fact, we contribute our data to a nationwide modeling effort and conservation effort. And while monarch butterflies are just a single species, they're critically important in conservation efforts in the West. Monarchs play roles in the ecosystem that are important for plants and other animals. They're pollinators that pollinate a variety of different plants, but predominantly they're host plants milkweed. So if we can begin to conserve monarchs, we can conserve habitat for other species as well.
Everything plays its role in the ecosystem, and they're all equally important. And I don't know, from when I started mapping milkweed last year at the College of Western Idaho with Professor Perkins, I just kind of fell in love with what we're doing out here, and it's very interesting to see. Like, I mean, this isn't possible. By next year, this could be an endangered species, and it's pretty cool for me, being an undergraduate student, working with these right now and doing this research and kind of, you know, leading the front on the West Coast for what happens over here with monarch butterflies.
So I was bouncing around from major to major. I wasn't really sure what I wanted, and after taking my first biology course, I knew that I wanted to pursue something in biology, and my biology professor came to me and asked me if I wanted to be part of this project. And I talked with Dusty, and I just fell in love with just his enthusiasm and, you know, the passion he has for this project. And it shows, and it carries on to his students and everybody else.
These two have been out here mapping milkweed distributions and monarch distributions all summer. They've become experts in identifying different life stages of monarchs. They've trained other citizen scientists. To date, we've trained about 40 people. These guys have assisted them in the field, given them tips.
We put in a lot of time. Manny and I have been out here, you know, 5 days a week, roughly, you know, 4 to 6 hours a day. And gradually it's gotten hotter, and you know, we're dealing with ticks and mosquitoes, but it's just a cool opportunity. You know, we could be working a different summer job, but instead, you know, we're out here doing a nature walk every day. We see raptors, you know, we see deer, we've seen beavers. I mean, you know, and most importantly, we've seen tons of monarch butterflies. But it's just been a great experience overall. When I started going to school, I knew I wanted to be in biology. you know, I got involved with this project last year, helping Professor Perkins map the milkweed distribution around the lake, and that's where I first really started falling in love with monarch butterflies, and you know, finding a real interest, and then getting the opportunity to be on this summer internship now, and studying them up close and seeing them. And it's kind of funny because my wife goes, "Did you ever think you would go from blowing stuff up as an infantryman in the military to being so obsessed with butterflies?" So she calls it bombs the butterflies. She gets a kick out of that. So